Hi everybody, day 10 Jeff's blog, May the 13th, 2020. I said yesterday that I'd tell you how God got me together with Janet. Well, just to say that at the time when I became a Christian when I was 18, me and my friend had never had a girlfriend. So we'd decided we were going to go and get a girlfriend. We'd been doing some local dance and this and that, and made a complete fool of ourselves a couple of times. And it was at that time that God interrupted that process to bring me to a Bible study where I could hear about Jesus and find out about it from him for myself, and sought him and found him for myself. Story for another day. But the immediate influence of finding Jesus for myself that day was that first I knew I would go to heaven when I died. That was settled, you know. And that second, I didn't need to go looking for a girlfriend anymore, because God knew everybody. He knew me. He knew everybody in the world. He knew the best girl in the world would be for me. So I just I could leave it alone. I could, leave it to him, to sort that out. And so I did. And probably, I don't know, I can't remember, maybe about 18 months or something like that later, as I watch the girls as they go by, and is it that one, is it that one, is it that one, but no, it's not that one, no, it's not that one. And then I invited anybody at the youth fellowship who wanted to come in my car to a hoot nanny in a barn on the other side of Altrincham somewhere. And a girl called Dot brought her best friend Janet, and so she came and had a good time that night. And on the way home, she was sitting in the back of the car, and Dot was in the front, asking me all sorts of questions, and I was answering all these questions really well. And when she got out, what more does she need to know to become a Christian like him? Anyway, and I think that it was love at first sight, but I didn't know it. Janet went away for a while, and then one day came back to church just to say, I need to become a Christian today. So she became a Christian today. And then as we were friends in the youth fellowship and got to know each other a little bit through that. And for me, as I looked at her across the room, she was, my eyes would always find her, and then she'd always be in the middle of the girls or whatever. And then when she spoke, it was to me like as if she'd just come out to the presence of God. That's how strange it was. She, the things that she said were as if she'd just come out to the presence of God. So I had that attraction in me for her, but I didn't know it was love, and I didn't know it was from God. And I'd in a sense, I'd almost forgotten about that. I'm waiting for God to give me this girl, But at one point, I told the youth leader that I had these feelings about Janet, not knowing what they were, a bit like my dad. Well, no, not like my dad. My dad knew, didn't he? But not knowing what these feelings were, and I was hoping he'd say, so underneath, I was hoping he'd say, well, you're probably supposed to go out with her, so why didn't you ask her out? But he didn't say that. He said, well, tell you what, go away and pray about it. That's not what I wanted to hear. I knew that that's not what I wanted to hear, but I didn't exactly know what I did want to hear. And I was a bit scared of getting a girlfriend anyway, So I went away and prayed about it. And the strange thing was, from meeting Janet right at the first time, never done that before or since, I pray for her every day. I pray for Dot's friend every day. And then the youth leader rang me a couple of months later to say, the feelings that you said that you had for Janet, maybe it's a good time to go and talk to her about them now. So as soon as he put the phone down, I rang her. Said, can I see you? And I saw her the next night, and she got in. I had a man in those days. She got in the van, and I immediately asked her if she'd be my girlfriend, and she immediately said yeah. And at that moment, I knew that I'd be with that girl forever. I drove her to Hollingworth Lake, and as we looked over Hollingworth Lake, we had our first kiss before I drove her back, because she was going to see somebody and I was going to the prayer meeting. So, that's the beginnings of this gift, this most beautiful gift into my life. Just to say, for the last couple of minutes, The other really big thing that was happening in my life at that time was God was impressing upon me that Bethesda was where he wanted me to be. He wanted me to serve him from Bethesda, from the church there. And so when we came to get married, it wasn't on the cards that we would go to the more alive church where I'd found Janet, but that she would come to Bethesda with me. And she did, and we served together, served the young people's work initially, and then more mature things as the years went by. Just the companionship and the love that we have for one another deepens and grows as the years go by. And we are both so grateful that both of us could have gone a different way, and the different way would have been disaster, whereas this way, waiting on God, had given us this gift of this beautiful relationship all down these years. And the children that we have and the grandchildren that we have are all a delight to us. So we celebrate God's goodness, which he poured on us in those days and those beginnings of our lives. Thanks, I'll leave that for today. And then we'll see where we get to tomorrow. Okay, see you then. Bye.